Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Super Saturday. Super Saturday, we got here at last. It's all going to happen today, but we're going to start off with our Mackmyra Breakfast with B show. Going to start with introducing our Friday night star behind the bar, Camille Kasonka. Say hello, Camille.
I'm saying hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, Brendan. Hello, guys.
And our resident chef down below. Say hello and good morning, Brendan.
Good morning, Gareth. Good morning, Camille.
Mr. B, beautiful chef.
You're too sweet, Camille. You're too sweet.
Mr. B, beautiful. Good stuff. Welcome, everybody, to the show. This week, we've been looking at seasonal whiskies in Mackmyra, and we've done a couple of great shows on those, looking into the depth of the Mackmyra whiskies, seasonal ones. And then last night, we had a bit of fun making some cocktails. Today, we're going to make some food with it. But so we're having a look today at Appelblom, our very appley apple whiskey that we got. Bit of Calvados in there finish. Christian Drouin, I think, is the where we got the Calvados from, and it's a very popular. No, almost run out this one, but beautiful summer spring flavors of apple in here. So that'd be an interesting one to go for it. And secondly, we're going for the other end of the season. We're going for winter. So this is Vinterblod, which is all about the very special mulled wine, Saturnus mulled wine that they do in Sweden, and they did a finish with that mulled wine and a lot of other special casks in there. Really nice, sort of spicy, winter warmer kind of thing. So there's a lot of spice and character going on. So great flavors to work with for you, B, this week. So what have you got in mind for us on this week?
Well, I've actually gone a bit classic this week. I've decided to do a bread and butter pudding because you can't go wrong. And I'm going to be using the...
Have we lost B?
No, this was planned. It's supposed to phrase like this.
That's right.
No, wait. He just want to keep us in in tension. Like, what he's gonna say?
It's gonna happen. Well, I know he's doing bread and butter pudding. He told us that, but he also is going to be doing some poached pears as well, which sounds pretty splendid. So we may have lost Brendan, and we might have to wait until he recovers. So we're going to be talking about. Let's talk about the whiskies. Oh, Brendan, I think you're there. You're there, back with us.
I think I'm back. I don't know what happened there.
You're back. Thank God for that, because me and Camille are really going to struggle to make this happen, but without you, my friend.
Yes, we need you. We cannot cook.
We're not the cook. It's looking a bit choppy down there. Wherever he is, he's very happy about it though. Anyway, yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the whiskies while we're on. So
got it. Maybe just take a break. It's a breakfast, so perhaps we can play some video about Appelblom.
I'm Guillaume Drouin. I'm the third generation of the Christian Drouin family.
I've heard your name in the business for many years, and when people talk about really good Calvados, it's Christian Drouin.
Got a big part of our reputation from the very old vintages. I had the chance, my grandfather spent nearly the first 20 years distilling his Calvados, aging them without selling a bottle. This is definitely a very elegant, delicate whiskey with a lot of fruity notes. I thought the match was really good. I think the whiskey you've selected was already a fruity whiskey, rather elegant and light, and I think this is just perfect to go with Calvados. Yeah, beautifully done. Congratulations, Angela.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it.
Well, there you go. Great video. That's the grandson of the original Christian Drouin. And as he said, for about 15, 20 years, he made Calvados and never sold a bottle. And so he grew that family business. Really interesting stuff. Thanks for coming back to us, Brendan. We're going to struggle to make any food without a cook. So welcome back. Izzy Whack. Man.
Okay, in the meantime, until you come back, I'm going to say thank you, Richard, for your comments. And thank you, Lisa Batty. She probably watched our show and she liked the cocktails.
Fantastic. Well, look, I think we're obviously still having a few technical problems communicating with our star behind the star behind the cooker. He's still looking a bit ropey. We've lost him. Unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
So we were speaking to Angela earlier on the week, and she was telling us it was always a dream of hers, because she's been a big Calvados fan for many, many years, to work with the Christian Druin, and that was her target. She did go in and make a suggestion, and initially got kicked back. They didn't have a great experience with some guys whiskey guys that they were working with, but she persisted, and eventually it came through. So pretty pleased we did, because it's one of our most popular ones ever. We've only got about 115 bottles left on the store, I think, the UK store. So it's going to go. It's going to go very quickly, and we're going to get back. Brendan, are we online? Can you hear me? You're back.
I can hear you. Sorry, I'm having terrible internet connection today. Yeah.
Brandon, you need to stop downloading stuff while you're streaming.
Okay, let's get on with it. Get over while you're there. Tell us. We heard you were going to do some bread and butter pudding. What else are you going to do?
Okay, where we are. We're streaming now. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the special offer we have got for this week on those whiskeys, which is by any seasonal rate.
I'm going to be doing poached pears in the apple blom whiskey with some cinnamon and honey.
Excellent. Well, we better crack on with it while you've got a bit of internet connection, and see how we go on. Camille, you were just going to mention the deal that we've got this week on the seasonals. Have a quick go at that, and then we'll get on with the cooking.
Okay, I'll try again. So buy any seasonal range whiskey and get 20% off your second seasonal range whiskey. That's not a bad deal.
No, that's good. And that's the way that you saw the picture of the shop there. You get the second one. But there is another deal, a bigger deal on the seasonals. It's a fantastic. It's called the seasonal pack. There it is. Use that link to go in. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bottles there, including the 2 that we're looking today, the Apple Blom and the Vinterblad. And then we got the Smoky American Act, Gruv Gold, Gold from the Grave, and Intelligence as well. So all 6 bottles. And if you add them all up, the normal retail price will set you back £360. But we're going to take a third off that, and that deal runs until end of Sunday. So that's a great deal if you're interested in all the different kind of ranges of finishes, which we do. Superb range of finishes. So £120 off that. So a great deal on that seasonal. It only runs till Sunday. It's been running for a while. So if you want to get in quick and get that deal, use the link that we'll put up in the comments. I'm sure Richard or somebody will put it in the back there. B, are you going to cook for us, my friend?
I'm going to attempt to cook.
Let's go for it. We're going to hand over to you and show us what you're up to, mate. What are you up to?
Well, I'm going to start off with making a creme anglaise, which is practically a fancy way of saying a custard, which is going to be poured over our bread and butter pudding and then baked, giving it its body.
Fantastic.
So to start, you're going to need 500 milliliters of milk, 500 milliliters of cream, 1 vanilla pod. But if you can't get vanilla pods, I'm using just the vanilla paste or vanilla essence. It's going to do the exact same. Yeah, it's going to taste exactly the same. And Gareth, I know because you're vegan, you might not like this, but you need 3 full eggs plus an extra 6 egg yolks.
Okay.
Then I've got 4 all butter croissants, just quickly sliced, about 1 centimeter thick.
Look at that. Okay. So the idea is
roughly lay them in a pan.
Yeah. And they're going to soak up all of this nice creme anglaise that you're going to make, and we'll put it in there.
That's definitely the hope.
It's a whole French theme. So you've got creme anglaise and croissant. It's very French themed. You know, to go with the Christian Druin for the Calvados.
Exactly.
So I like the combination you got there, bringing it all together in a France-English dish.
Need some cappuccino, orange juice.
But yeah, it's actually a lovely dish because it's such a slight flavor. It's not got a large flavor by itself. So using the whiskey, you're really just going to lift it up and give it so much more depth of flavor.
Yeah.
So like I said, you're just going to take your milk and your cream and you want to put it on the heat and scald it.
What is scalding?
So scalding is the process of bringing milk up to the boil, but not boiling it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a protein in milk which stops it from thickening up naturally unless you scald it off. So this is just going to help everything become a bit thicker. And sorry, just to say, I added in there just 125 grams of white chocolate chips.
Ooh.
I love
It's going to do my it's going to do my diet no good at all. Look at that.
I'm sorry.
Chocolate.
I'm very sorry. And
so
then
that's
also
been heating up for a little while. Go on.
Yeah, you just got to add your vanilla into that.
I've never seen vanilla paste before. I've seen vanilla pods, but vanilla paste, you know?
Yeah, so it's very similar
interesting.
to vanilla pods.
So for the vanilla, if you had vanilla pod, would you just drop the pods in, or would you chop them up? Or...
So what the best thing to do is cut it like half in lengthways and just scrape the seeds out. That's all you need to do.
Oh, okay. Do you know, as a kid, you grow up with vanilla ice cream and you think it's the worst tasting ice cream because it has no taste, you know.
Exactly.
But it was only later in life I learned that vanilla is a fantastic flavor. If you get some proper vanilla, it's really beautiful. So, you know, I spent years avoiding vanilla ice cream, but I don't anymore.
Perfect. But yeah, and so also what I added in there was 75 mils of the Vinterglad whiskey. That's just to, again, give it that little bit of depth of flavor. And that whiskey came from some sultanas that I was actually just soaking in the whiskey. So not wasting it.
Whiskey soaked sultanas, very good. So have you got a mixture of both Apple Blum and Winterglad in this? Both of them together?
No, I've actually just got the Vinterglad in this one because I'm going to be using the Apple Blum in the poached pears.
Oh, I see. My bad.
And how long does it take to scald the milk? Scald?
So because I'm using a liter, it can take anywhere to like 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Depending how much milk you're using, it just changes. And you'll just see bubbles coming up the side and you take it off the heat.
Okay.
Right. And just leave it there. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, by leaving it, you're going to let those flavors infuse. So just letting the milk cool down a second, you let all those flavors infuse into the milk. So you're going to get vanilla, the Vinterglad, the sultanas, because they've been soaking in there. It's just going to, again, add a little more depth to that flavor.
Wow.
Can you use it for cereals or muesli?
Yeah, you can use it 100%. It's definitely not the healthiest way to do it, but you can 100% use it.
Okay.
And then while you're waiting for that to cool down, you just got to grab all your eggs and give them a quick little whisk together. Almost
manual whisk.
Yeah, can't be cheating.
No electricity, no gizmos. Get in there and do it properly.
And what you're looking for in this is actually just a mixture that's brought together fully, so there's no split egg whites to egg yolk. Okay. So it just needs to be one solid color throughout. Then to that, you're going to add 200 grams of caster sugar. So again, not too great for the diet, but...
I'm not worried about this.
No.
And then
I'm married, you know.
you don't have to work out anymore.
Is that what you're saying? And once you've nicely combined all that sugar and eggs, it's going to look, and it's just going to hold together like that you could almost pick it up and let it drip down.
Wow.
Yeah. There we go.
Now to this is probably the hardest part about making a creme anglaise because there's a chance you can scramble the eggs. Oh. So it is, it's very good to take this slow. You're going to take the milk where it's still fairly warm, and you just want to add a little bit in at a time.
Right.
So what this is going to do is it's going to bring the eggs and the milk into a similar temperature, meaning that neither of them are going to cook or cool down too fast.
Wow. So this is the skill part. This is where you avoid the disaster of scrambled egg on bread.
Well, I mean, if you want that, it's easy to get that. And the best thing is it is quite simple. Once you've got the first edition, and you can almost add more and more each time, so you can do it fairly quickly.
Okay, so you incrementally get faster and faster. Yeah.
Yes. And does it actually cook these eggs, that milk, that heat from milk?
No, the eggs are mostly going to cook when you put it in the oven and bake it at 200. The milk is going to slightly cook it, but not much. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to make a thicker custard, you could put it back into the pan once you've incorporated all the eggs and thicken it up there.
Okay, wow.
So there you go. I can pretty much go in all in from here.
All in, there it goes. It looks to me like it should have a bit of creamy type of thing, but it's no cream in there. It looks creamy, but it's not creamy. If you know,
there
it's
is
not
a little
milky cream.
yeah. And there you go. That's all you need to do. And there you've got
Right.
a base custard ready to be baked.
Wow.
Now, to add to our croissants, you just take about 25 grams of melted butter and pour that on top.
So what's the butter going to do in that? Is that just sort of just to add a base layer of flavor on top of that bread, or to soak in, or?
Yes, to add a little bit of base layer. And as we always say in French cooking, the three main ingredients are butter, butter, and butter.
Okay.
I
So you
remember
can
Oh,
this
never
one.
go wrong.
Is that unsalted because it's a dessert one? Unsalted butter, or does it matter?
Well, I'm using salted butter just because of the bread, so it's going to give it a little bit of extra flavor.
Oh,
And the
a
salt
bit of
won't
kick
affect
on it,
it too
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Yes.
Seasoning, yeah.
And then, very simply, just pour it all over. You want to only pour about half in the first addition. Get your fingers in and just press all of it down to allow it to soak.
Wow,
nice and
look
softly.
at that.
Make sure everything's got a nice coating. And just go back on top with the rest.
Look at that, beautiful.
It's amazing.
Then take those sultanas that have been soaked, because you don't want to waste anything in our kitchens.
No, not at all. So here's the garnishing that you put on the end of your cocktails. This is what he's garnishing the end of his meals.
Brendan,
there
is
you
it
go.
like, is it this the croissant? Does it need to be fresh or like 1 day old, or doesn't matter?
It doesn't really matter with this recipe because you're going to be soaking it in that custard, so it's actually just going to absorb it. So if they're stale, it's just going to absorb the custard and become nice and moist again.
Wow.
And then,
So-
there you go.
Good. A good. If you've got a big bag of croissants and you've got a lot left over, it's a good way to use them up.
Exactly. If you have spare eggs, if you have spare milk, anything you just need to get rid of, make a custard, make a bread and butter pudding. Done.
So that's going to go in the oven. How long will that go in the oven for?
So I bake it at 200 degrees Celsius for
Right.
about 20 minutes. So let me just actually quickly go and pop that in for you guys.
Okay, you do that. That looks like the breakfast of champions, Camille. I don't
Yeah.
think. I don't think we'll be having too much workout if we start having that for breakfast. Butter, butter, butter.
Good morning, Mickey.
Hey, Mickey. Good morning, and Lisa's
Hello, Lisa.
morning to you guys as well.
And I'm back.
And there he is.
Brendan, for how many people is that portion you made?
Depends how hungry
Well,
they
if
are.
I'm making, for me, that's one portion. I just take a spoon and some ice cream and eat it like that. No, I'm joking. You could probably serve about 8 people with that generously. So it's a lovely
dish.
recipe and simple.
Okay, excellent.
And
Well, what's
once
the
it's
next
done,
what?
once it's done after this 20 minutes, and then you like eat
Yeah.
your dessert and stuff. How long you can store it and have it? How many days can you still consume that? Eat that.
Just because it's eggs, milk, and cream, I'd probably only use it to keep it for a day or 2 days afterwards. Just because you don't really
Realistically,
want
though,
to be
it's not-
playing. Yeah.
If you're making something that delicious, it's not going to last, really, is it? You know,
No, not at all.
It's going. You're going to be fighting people off it. Okay, next stage. What are we up to? What's the next plan?
Now we're gonna be poaching some pears because you can't go wrong with poached pears.
Pears. Crash.
So in my
we
pot
go.
here, I've just got roughly a liter of water. There we are.
Ah, there you go.
just
Leave
gonna-
the water.
Just gonna take my pears and cut them in half straight down the middle.
Okay.
Oh, these are also peeled, by the way. Just plain peeled and then halved.
Pears drop straight in. Okay.
Straight in. Then to that mixture, you're gonna want to add 2 cinnamon sticks. 2 cinnamon sticks.
In they go.
About 4 tablespoons worth of honey.
Bless you. Bless you.
Sorry. Excuse me.
Did you ask
Embarrassing.
something? Were you asking something?
I was just getting nervous. My bad. I'm so nervous now, I
Hey.
can't even open a bottle of whiskey first thing in the morning.
Wow. Okay, I can do that for you. I'm good at that.
Now, here's the fun part. To this mixture, I'm going to be adding 150 mils of the apple blonde whiskey.
Ah, right. Apple, apple, apple.
Can't go wrong.
I like the measure. 150 ml. That's good. Good measure.
It's quite hard
That
to do with
is-
tablespoons.
Yeah. That's a lot of whiskey, but it's not the alcohol. It's no alcohol being left because it's all going to be boiled off, isn't it? So it's just the flavors that we're getting.
100%. And then all you want to do is you want to bring it up to a very slight simmer where you're going to see bubbles, small bubbles rising to the top. And you want to keep it at that sort of temperature. And that's the difference between poaching and boiling. So boiling is a rapid boiling of bubbles, which is going to cook things extremely quick. Poaching is soft, which is going to infuse flavors. It's got to keep the pears intact so they're not going to fall apart. It's much better.
Okay, so how would you know when they're ready then? If you're slowly poaching it, what's the sign that it's ready to go?
So I use these little tongs here, which are actually for plating up. You just push them together and you push them through the pears. If they give you zero resistance, they're ready. But if you have to force them through, then they're probably not ready.
Oh, have you got a little tongue thing on your sleeve there? Is that an official chef tongue thing? Look at that.
Got to keep it.
That's nice.
And yeah, so that does take about 20 minutes to do. So I have been smart and made some ahead of time.
Good man.
I've also got a bread and butter pudding ahead of time. So while that's boiling away, shall I just show you how I usually plate up this dish?
Go on then. I mean, because plating. I mean, we're interested in plating today. It's what we want to focus on because it's a separate skill to cooking, but it's a complementary skill, isn't it? So, what you present to the consumer is the food, but it's also how it's looking as well. So,
it's like
interested
art.
in a few. Yeah, interesting to see some of the top tips here for how to plate up.
So yeah, when it comes to plating up for us, we don't have 10 minutes for every single dish to plate up. So we need to think of the easiest ways to make something ordinary just look extraordinary or delicate with minimal effort.
Yeah.
So we use things like we use ring cutters, which I've got here. We use paper towel to wipe marks off anything that we have. We use the bottom of the plate to pick it up so we don't have finger marks on anything. And yeah, when it comes to plating, most of the time you have a dish and you want to use that to frame your food. So you don't want to put everything right on the edge or everything in the center. You want to use the plate to your advantage. So in this case, I'm going to take a simple ring cutter and just go straight through the middle of that pudding.
Wow.
Which is just going to go nice and in. Then I just need to find a scoop. And you just want to go and delicately pick it up. Then we go and just plop that in. And you pull your ring up. There you've got a nice circle so far.
Okay.
And now if you can see, I've got a little bit of the custard there that's just left on the side.
All right, okay.
So I'm just going to take some paper towel, which I've sprayed a bit of just plain white vinegar on.
Vinegar?
Yeah. Vinegar removes all grease marks on plates. It's absolutely amazing.
Also, vodka will do the same thing.
Yeah, but it's a bit early in the morning for vodka for me. I'm not going to lie. And there you go. So you've got that nicely cut out. And now it's time to prep your pears.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I'm only going to use half a pear, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to thinly slice it, very thinly slice it.
Look at that. So on last night's show, B, we had Camille doing very thin slices of an apple and doing an apple fan on it, which was really, really, really nice, the way you did that. Richard had a go. To be honest, it wasn't too bad an effort. I wasn't making them last night, but that little fan, it was great to see an expert. You know, she went, and there it was, a little apple fan. He knows a thing or two, that Camille, you know.
Well, there you go. So usually when it comes to the pears, I've just got rid of the two end pieces because they don't fit as nicely.
Okay.
And then you're just going to almost, again, make a fan on top.
Okay. That looks amazing. Gareth, I'm sure you can do something like this in your kitchen where you are now. You must invest a lot of money in that.
It is my tiny little bungalow down in Cornwall where I am. You know, I had this little kitchen installed, and I don't know where everybody is this morning. I've been waiting for breakfast to be served. Is anybody there? I can't see anybody there at the moment.
And now,
Okay, it's a green screen, everyone. It's a green screen. I'm stuck in a tiny little room with a big screen behind me. Anyway, let's back to that. That plate looked fantastic.
so now I've got half of it covered with pears, and to give it a little bit more color, I'm going to cover the other half with icing sugar.
Ah.
So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use a piece of paper towel over the half that's already covered by pears.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to slowly put the icing sugar on top,
Wow, look at that.
giving it a
Good tricks of the
lovely
trade.
coating.
Yes.
Good tricks of the trade there. Look at that.
And when you pull it up, you've only got the icing sugar on the parts of the bread and butter pudding that you want.
Could you bring that right up to the camera and shows it right
Yeah.
next to the camera? Come on, bring it right up. We want to see the skill there. Look at that.
Wow.
Turn it round. Turn it
Incredible.
round. Yeah.
It's fallen apart a little bit, but it is a rustic
Beautiful.
dish as well. So,
Hey, this is 5-star dish.
and now because I'm fancy, the cinnamon sticks that I used to poach, again, I'm just going to lay it across. And then you take that sauce and you just pour it all over.
So that's the sauce from
So
the
this is the
poaching
sauce-
of the pears. Yeah.
Yes, so once the pears are poached, I just reduce it down to a thickish syrup.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. You just literally let it boil away for about an hour and it goes to a lovely little syrup. And there you go. That's the simplest way I can think to do poached pears, bread and butter pudding with a lovely
Wow.
syrupy sauce.
Wow. Just
Beautiful.
amazing.
Great effort there. Great effort. Well done. That looks fantastic. I mean, as always, we're going to force you to eat a bit. You know, you're going to have a taste and give us some kind of feedback from all the on it, because we'd like to reach out our virtual spoons. If we were there, we'd be digging into it, you know?
I've got a spoon for you here, Gareth. Don't worry.
Is it big enough?
So- I don't think so. So here we go.
Baby shark, do, 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 baby shark, do, 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 do.
They say it's rude to talk with your mouth full, but that was quite good. I'm not going to lie.
Camille, we nearly got the camera sprayed with anglais there.
You know, from yesterday they called me singing bartender, so I can.
The singing bartender, yeah. Good stuff. Brendan,
No,
did it hit
but
the
serious.
spot? Did it hit the spot?
It's perfect because that apple blom just treats the pears, like it complements the pears so nicely with that Calvados flavor. And then the bread and butter pudding, having the Vinterglad in it, it just adds a little bit of spice and that depth to it. It's the actual reason I chose those two. It just adds so much more flavor to it.
Beautiful. And you know what? The plating is, it's like in life, you only get one chance to do a first impression. On you know,
Yes.
and when you're presented with a dish, that's it. And when you meet somebody, you get one first impression. And if the dish looks well structured and presented, you know, and in all the cookery programs, you see it. There's almost as much effort on the presentation as there is on the food. They're complementary,
Yes.
And they bring it together. So it's an absolute skill. And I guess the reflection on your side, Camille, is in the bar. You know, you can make a great flavored drink, but you have to present it, you know, in a style with a finish and a garnish, and it has to be appealing. So there's a real good parallel there between the way that you're working with flavors, but also presentation. So thanks for your skills, both of you, over the last night and tonight.
Let me just tell a story, right, on a plating. You know, when I was a waiter a while back, a long time ago, you know, there was a chef in the kitchen, you know, and he was like, bang, 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 bell, 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 service, service, service. You know, I'm running to the kitchen, and this guy is plating. He's plating 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Oh, come on, man. Then he played the dish, okay? And he made it so high with all the things. And he was like, go, 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 go. It's ready. So I touched the plate, everything fell down. So it's not just making it nice. He was so pissed, you know, so pissed off. He hated me like for a week. But it's not just to make it beautiful, but also easy for a waiter to carry and, you know,
Yes,
and
definitely.
stable like you did today, you know.
Yeah. That bread and butter pudding would have a low center of gravity. I think it would be okay.
Yeah. I mean, your biggest fear is if someone your biggest fear is if someone makes you laugh while you're eating it and you might spit it all over your laptop and camera. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that nearly happened. That would have been definitely a good one on our blooper show if that happened. Bloopers too. I think we had enough of that at the start of the show, but don't worry, we got over our technical gremlins. Thanks everybody for joining us this morning, going through that wonderful recipes of bread and butter pudding and poached pears with the creme anglaise sauce all beautiful in. Great fun and great skills, B. Well done on that. So,
well done.
Camille, tell us again, just remind us of the deal that we got on the 2 whiskies, on the seasonal whiskies, in fact.
So if you buy any seasonal range whiskey, you get 20% off of your second seasonal range whiskey.
Fantastic. There we go. And the final couple of days of our big seasonal deal. Buy the whole pack. There it is, the seasonal pack. Use that link to get onto the page. And you get all of them and a massive, look, there it is, $364 down to $240, 1/3 off the price. And it's only going to last till Sunday. So get in there. 'Tis the season to be jolly, I think, as they would say. So what have we got coming up soon? Next week, we're going to be looking at a few various things. On our Thursday show, we're going to be looking at a wonderful thing called reserve casks. Now, the Swedes go crazy for these. It means you buy your own 30-litre cask and you fill it up with whatever you want, whichever wood you want, and you leave it somewhere to mature in Sweden, and you watch it grow and mature, and you taste it every year. It's a great program, and because they're 30-litre casks, they're not very expensive. And guys club together or buy them themselves. And you know what? The Swedes have sold over 22,000 of these. So we bring this to the UK. We hope you're going to enjoy that. And so there's a special dedicated show on Thursday to explain all about that that process. On Friday, Camille, I think we're doing, is it G&T nights Friday with on your show? What are you up to on Friday?
Yes, we will make some cocktails from gin, of course. Then, yeah, we will switch from whiskey to gin for a change, and I will make a couple of cocktails from Lab Gin and Creator Gin.
Lab and Creator, yeah, because our old distillery, it was mothballed and we brought it back into life 2-3 years ago, and now we make great gins as well. So they're 2 really good gins, a lot of flavors, and we'll be using those. Saturday, we're doing something a little bit different. We're hoping to get together, and actually we're going to cook outdoors and indoors as a group, and we're going to be attempting to do some ribs in the garden, and maybe mix some of those gins in amongst some of the flavors and sauces, etc. So plenty going on as always in Mackmyra. Thanks to everybody for persisting with us and getting over our first gremlins this morning. Thanks to everybody who helped. We've got Richard on the comments. Thanks, Richard. Thanks to Connor, who's working on our tech. Camille, thanks for helping me out this morning, and Brendan, especially thanks to you for a great show, really informative, and that looks delicious, and you get the benefit of eating, and we just have to sit here and watch. So we'll see you next week.
Perks.
Exactly.
Brendan, do you trade? I will send you this picture. You can put it in your kitchen, and you send me the dessert, okay?
Yeah,
I meant it to be beautiful as well.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget, we also got our Creator tonic. We got our own tonic water to go with the gins, which is really interesting. We can tell you a story about that, but it's a lovely combo, the gins and the tonics together. We'll cover that next week. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Skål.
Skål.
Let's go.